Welcome to the Rimworld mod rundown. We'll be taking a quick look at what you can expect to see from Vanilla Weapons Expanded Laser. For starters, you'll need to own the additional workshop content, Vanilla Expanded Framework, and Harmony. I was supposed to release this video ages ago, and then life happened, so I've finally got around to wrapping this up. Lasers adds 12 new weapons to your game, 4 salvaged guns, 6 regular guns, 1 Tesla cannon, and 1 legally different laser sword. Salvaged laser weapons are what we'll cover first. You'll actually have the means to make these via the research, unsurprisingly named, Salvaged Laser Weapons, which requires you to have already unlocked pulse charge munitions. So what makes salvaged laser weapons different? A few things. Firstly, you can't directly control what weapon you'll make with this research.
Ooh, that's bad.
The crafting bill requires 30 plasteel and 6 advanced components, and will spit out a random salvaged laser weapon, either a pistol, rifle, shotgun, or sniper rifle. So obviously, the cost of production varies dramatically depending on what the resulting weapon actually is. Salvaged laser weapons are also noticeably weaker than their standard laser counterparts.
That's bad.
As your colonists don't exactly have the original blueprints to work from to replicate perfect copies. As well as being weaker, salvaged weapons also have a greater chance to malfunction when using the weapon warm-up mode.
That's bad.
This will see all ranged laser weapons firing progressively faster after each shot, providing that the user stands totally still.
That's good.
With the small risk of the weapon overheating and causing a tiny fiery explosion.
That's bad.
Can I go now?
That seemed to be a lot of downsides. Are there any upsides of salvaged weapons? No. At least not when you compare it side by side with what you'd be getting from a charge rifle or a lance of similar quality, which doesn't have an explode in your face mode, aka the Peter North. Looking at the stats, the biggest benefit to the majority of salvaged laser weapons is a pretty beefy armor penetration value. They all suffer from a quite hefty aiming time, with the obvious solution being run some of them in warm-up mode to get around that downside, with the downside to that then being you're potentially starting fires in your own defensive line, making pawns break formation to try and extinguish themselves. And remember, any movement will completely reset the warming up on the laser weapons, so once your line breaks, everything goes back to base aiming and cooldown values again, likely resulting in you being totally swarmed. What you actually want is OG laser weapons. As well as the standard pistol, rifle, shotgun, and sniper, you've now also got options for an SMG and a minigun. As these can't be crafted, you'll find them on high-tech traders, as loot in complex locations, or sometimes offered as a quest reward. This is where warm-up mode starts to make a little more sense. You aren't supposed to have an entire firing line using weapons like this. You'll make the best use of laser weapons by having them in their own position, or as a small group set in a checkerboard pattern, picking out high value or priority targets with their reliable damage, penetration, and accuracy. One of the nicer things about adding in laser weapons is that you'll frequently find members of the Empire using them, which looks far more fitting for their faction and does a great job of adding a bit more variety into firefights. As I mentioned that salvage weapons do malfunction more frequently, this of course means that yes, normal laser weapons are less prone to going off prematurely.
Are we not saying phrasing anymore?
As a quick side note to that, if you're planning on using these weapons near things like turrets or any stationary defences, investing in a few fire foam poppers probably isn't the worst idea. It'll also quickly get any burning defenders turned around and back into the fight. So what else do we have? The Tesla gun, which can't be sold outside of the US and will cut off your fingers if you hold it incorrectly.
Surely this will stop. Oh!
Much like other Tesla products, this has a tendency to set things on fire. Rather than doing any outright damage, it will start small blazes on organic targets, causing them to run around uncontrollably and suffer burns. Against mechanoid opponents, as you might expect, it stuns them for a brief period while doing no actual damage. So not something you'd want an entire firing line using. Not only that, to be honest, I think I'd rather just stick with an EMP grenade too. It has a more reliable hit chance thanks to the AoE, and it can be repeatedly thrown in the same spot in a choke or breach. This slows all enemies from progressing through, rather than needing to aim at a specific target. It's a weird gun. And finally, you've got your lightsaber laser sword, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. This thing is a monster, offering almost 100% armor penetration at just normal quality. It does offer slightly less DPS than the mono sword of equal quality, but that's because this hits harder and slower. So whilst the DPS may look a little bit worse, the increase in damage on the point and blade makes it more likely to remove the largest of limbs in a single hit. You'll find arms and legs are crippled by a normal mono sword, but missing entirely if struck by a laser sword. Of course, this may also have downsides in your eyes, as bodies that need to be transported in 4 separate bin bags don't make for great prisoners. All in all, this is an easy, solid addition. You'll likely find that you never touch salvage weapons, or the Tesla gun for that matter, so this hits just over a 50% inclusion rate of stuff that you'll actually give a shit about. Getting a laser weapon from a quest or a trader in the early game can give your colony a real gunslinger vibe, a sheriff-esque figure that keeps everybody else safe with their impossible to replicate tech hand cannon. It also gives you a reason not to piss off the Empire too early either, as a single attacker with a laser sword will make an absolute mockery of your entire colony if you're not that careful. Thanks for watching, folks. If you have any other mods you'd like to see a full breakdown for, or suggestions of mods you'd like to see covered, feel free to leave them in the comments. I might get around to them. I'll be back again soon with another Rimworld mod rundown. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Take care.